What's up, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Scotty Taylor Jr. podcast. I'm excited to share this little snippet with you today. Although I was thinking I probably shouldn't say this is a snippet because anytime I put the energy out there like this is going to be a short episode or a quick episode, it ends up being longer than ever. But the intention is for this episode to be short, sweet, to the point. And I'm going to share with you 2 reasons why you have not been able to double your financial planning business. And so I'm going to share with you these 2 things that came up for me that I see over and over and over again. And I'm super excited to hear what you think. And so without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, my friends, welcome back. So today's episode was really inspired because I was thinking to myself, I talked to a lot of advisors out there in their businesses. I've worked with over 80 plus advisors at this point as a coach and helping them become masters at prospecting. And I kept thinking to myself, what are the common threads that keep advisors stuck? Or what are the common threads that don't allow advisors to double their income and really get to that next level, whatever the next level is for you? And so this idea of stuckness, the way I think about it and the way that I would describe it is stuckness is really if you're an advisor and you're like 3 to 7 years in your business and you've done okay. So you look at your production numbers, your income numbers, and you're like, I've done okay, but there's more. Like, I just know that there's more for me. I know I have the talent to do more. I know I have the capacity to do more. I know I have the desire to do more. But for some reason, I haven't reached my level of success yet. And you just kind of feel like there's something there. There's something that's holding you back and you're not entirely sure what it is. You probably kind of know what is holding you back, but you're just like, why can't I just kind of overcome this seemingly simple or tiny hurdle to catapult myself and really see myself doubling my revenue and doubling my practice? And so here's what I've seen. So you might be smart, right? So maybe you've gotten your CFP, your CLU, your CHFC, your RICP, you've gotten your exams, you're smart, you know what you're doing. But again, you're just kind of hitting that upper limit, and maybe you've grown every year little by little, but you haven't seen that exponential explosive growth that some other advisors have displayed. And you're just thinking to yourself, like, why is that not me? Right? Like, why is that person able to do all that fucking growth, but I'm here just growing a little bit and a little bit every single year? What's the difference, right? What's really stopping me from that next level of success? And so you probably already know, more likely than not, that there's one thing that's holding you back. And that one thing is prospecting, right? And before you throw your phone or your computer out the window, just bear with me, right? So we're gonna break this down a little bit further. So you probably know if you're in this stuckness state and you're just not at the level that you want to be, prospecting is the one thing to really crack open to get to the next level. So it might be prospecting up, meaning you meet clients that have more income. It might look a little bit more like quantity, so maybe you just don't have enough people. Maybe it's a combination of both. You want better quality and better quantity people. So people that have more income and more of them, kind of sounds like the perfect combination. But I'm gonna actually share with you more than just prospecting. I'm gonna share with you 2 specific things that the advisors that, again, are not doubling their income in 1 year, these are the 2 things that I see that they do, so actual things that they do or don't do that are stopping them. So we're gonna dig right in. So again, I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. The first thing that I see that advisors do that they should not be doing if they want to double their income is they take joint work down meetings, right? And so when I say they take joint work down meetings, I also mean they possibly work with anyone and everyone. So joint work down, you're probably familiar, but if you're not, it's when you allow a more junior advisor to put a meeting on your calendar. So if you're one of the advisors that wants to double your income and you're taking joint work down meetings, I'm sorry to tell you that that is one of the common themes that I see of advisors who are not breaking through. So number one, they meet with anybody and everybody, and or number two, you are taking joint work down meetings. So let's think about it. Joint work down, you're doing 100% of the work, you're getting 50% of the case, and in those scenarios, they're not your client, they're not your prospect. So this person put a meeting on your calendar. So all of a sudden you have a meeting on your calendar, so you don't really need to dial, you don't really need to prospect because the meeting's there. And so you might get a little lazy. And this is what I've observed. You might get a little lazy. You don't need to prospect with this person because they're not your client. And you don't really want to prospect for somebody else either. So you just take the meeting, you potentially close the business. But even if you close it, you have to do twice as many meetings to keep the same amount of money because you only get 50% of the case. And so if you're taking joint work down meetings, there is multiple things that are happening here. Number one, you're only getting 50% of the case and you're doing 100% of the work. Think about all the time and energy it takes to plan, to do investments, to do insurance, underwriting, policy delivery, all the stuff that goes along with actually taking on a new client, number one. Number two, if you're taking a lot of joint work down meetings, your calendar might get more full or fuller. And so therefore you might have less time to implement other prospecting strategies to bring in other people. And if you're taking joint work down meetings, you're likely not prospecting with them and you're not getting new people in the door. So it's a catch-22. So you start taking joint work down meetings, so you get busier. You don't have time to prospect or create a prospecting system of your own, so you don't have people coming in the door. So then you need the joint work down meetings to keep yourself busy. And so it's like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. I never really fully understood that metaphor, but hopefully that makes sense. So you're basically doing something that's providing you some short-term like savior, like there's some short-term gain, but you're actually hurting yourself long-term, if that makes sense. So the other thing that you might be doing is saying yes to anybody. So if you don't have any type of client minimum, I'm telling you from my experience that you're not going to be able to jump to that next level, because if you want to double your production from, let's say, 150 to 300,000, and you don't want to work twice as hard, right? So if you're saying I'm at 150 and I want to get to 300, but Scotty, I don't want to work twice as hard. So if you're working 8 hours a day, I don't want to work 16 hours a day, then mathematically, you're not going to be able to get there unless you double your effort if you keep meeting the same person. So if you allow any single person on your calendar and you think that you're doing yourself or you're doing them a service, you're actually doing the opposite, because having all those people on your calendar, you're never going to be able to get to doubling your income if you keep doing what you're doing. So that leads me into my second point, which is that if you keep getting referred laterally, so if you don't have a strategy for prospecting up, then you're, again, never going to be able to double your practice. So the two biggest mistakes, just to reiterate, and I'm going to go deeper into the second one. Number one, you let anybody on your calendar and you let joint work on your calendar. Number two, you don't have a strategy for prospecting up and you keep getting laterally referred. So you keep getting referred to people that are in the same income bracket of the people that you're currently working with. And again, these are not bad things. I'm not trying to say that you're fucking up, or I'm not trying to shame you in any way, shape, or form. What I am saying, though, is if you're somebody who wants to double their income, if you keep getting referred laterally and you're not creating a process or a system for getting prospecting up to get people that make more money, you're going to stay stuck, my friend. And that's what I see over and over and over again. So those are the two primary things that I see for advisors that come to me and they've spent years being like, why am I not doubling my income, right? Me personally, I went my first full year, I hit 288,000 of production on working 6 days a week. The next year, I worked 2 days a week and I did more production at 315. How did that happen? How was I able to increase my production and cut my workload in more than half? I prospected up, I set minimums, and I stopped taking joint work down. Those are things that I did in my practice. And if you look around to the advisors who have doubled their practice in 1 year, I can almost guarantee you that all of them will tell you that they stopped doing joint work down and instead started doing joint work up. That's a little bonus tip for you. You go up. You take those people that are great prospects and you pass them upward. So again, you're doing 0% of the work and getting 50% of the case. So I wanted to pop on here and share that. If this was helpful, if this was interesting, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you took away from this. But this is an awareness episode. So if you're in one of those two, this is your sign to make a change, right? And making a change comes down to prospecting, becoming better at prospecting. And you can learn all of that inside of my signature online program, the Financial Advisor Academy. I teach you how to become a master at prospecting. So if you're interested, go to the show notes, check out the program itself, DM me on Instagram if you have any questions or if you want to talk through anything. I love you, my friend. I hope this was helpful. I'm excited to see you in the next episode. I hope you have a kick-ass day. I'm going to keep drinking my soy milk latte overlooking this beautiful, beautiful view in Sorrento, Italy. And I will see you in the next episode, my friends. Take care.